Welcome everybody at a look at the third and final film in the Japanese Godfather Trilogy, so aptly named Japanese Godfather Conclusion, or Japanese Godfather 3 Conclusion. Not sure why the Roman numerals are in this release for this and the second film, because they're not there for the actual title card. But nonetheless, once again, a Yakuza crime drama. This is released in 1978, so the year after the first two. And it's the shortest of the three at 131 minutes long, so that's 1 minute shorter than the first and 10 minutes shorter than the second. And yeah, once again, we have most of the cast returning. So we've got like Hiroki Matsukata, Bunta Sugo Ohara, who again plays a different role to the previous two films he was in. You've also got Etsushi Takahashi, Mikio Narita, Shin Saburi, and Toshiro Mifune returning as well. But joining the cast, we've got Chietsu Katakoa, who was also in Miyamoto Musashi 5. So again, another link to a previous Japanese box set that we've had this year. And finally, Naoka Otani, who was in The Rapacious Jailbreaker, which is a film that the director also did of this trilogy, which was also released by Radiance Films in the past. So Sakura and Oishi are still rivals in the third and final film, but riding into the equation is another crime leader in the form of Owama, who is played by Chietsu Katakawa, and all three will vie for control of the Japanese criminal underworld. So the majority of the positives of the prior two films are still present in this conclusion to the trilogy, but that said, it does feel a little anticlimactic when it comes to some of the characters and the general plot, but I guess that is somewhat of a thematic reason for that. Thankfully, what is here is still a highly engaging and well-executed effort that retains a strong cast along with effective themes. The themes being, likes of violence being reciprocal, constantly happening. Someone will kill someone else, and then that person's relatives or allies will kill that person, and such and such. And that is perfectly encapsulated in the fact that one character in this, who's been in all three films, has gone from a humble doctor to someone that has gone on to kill people for to keep these criminal to keep Sakura in power. Um, in the first instance, in the first film, that you could see that was not massively a bad reason for doing it, especially since the character that he kills is virtually on the verge of death anyway, and doesn't look like he would survive. But in his third film, he does kill someone outright, who is going to survive. In fact, it's a character that he actually saves at the beginning. He does this at great consequence. He ultimately becomes an alcoholic. He loses his job. He loses his wife, and then consequently to that, he turns violent himself. So you can see that this criminal underworld corrupts even the most you know good-hearted, good-natured kind of person out there. The pacing is also on point, the score is well done, and the cinematography is once again great. So yeah, this keeps up the consistency for the most part of the previous two films, to the point where this also gets a 4 out of 5. So yeah, the whole trilogy gets a 4 out of 5, and yeah, it's just been really, really consistent, and I've really enjoyed that consistency. To be honest, I could imagine that you could have released this as one massive supercut. Obviously, get rid of the credits and such that begin and end each film outside of, well, I guess outside of the second film, you beginning and ending credits, and then the beginning of the credits of the third film, and the end credits for the first film, obviously, as well. So yeah, you could shorten it down a little bit in that regard, but I really feel that these would work even better as just one consistent film overall, rather than being broken up as a trilogy. But given that would result in all three films joining up to be roughly around 6 and a bit hours, I can see why it would be broken up, but I think it would be just as effective as one whole film, to be honest. But still, yeah, really, really good effort. And yeah, like the previous two films, it's had a high definition digital transfer on Blu-ray for the first time in 1080p in the world, and uncompressed mono PCM audio, and once again, looks and sounds perfectly good. New interview with scriptwriter Koji Takada from 2025 that clocks in at 29 minutes long. Also a trailer, and new and improved in optional English subtitles. Although I will say, like the previous film, there were a couple of mistakes in terms of the subtitles. So yeah, which is a little bit disappointing. and there is the disc itself. So also nice that each of these films has had their own disc, although I would have preferred each of the films to have their own case as well. But you know, size constraints probably have stopped that being the case, to be honest. As yeah, even though this is a box set, we have seen how big box sets from Radiance films that have 3 discs can get, and yeah, this is a lot skinnier than those other ones. So yeah, on the whole, really good effort, and in general, this series has been really consistent. 4 out of 5 for each of them, and yeah, no major flaws in between them either. Like I said, some of the anticlimactic aspects of this could certainly put some people off, but on the whole, I can see why it would be a bit anticlimactic, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get rid of the Yakuza, especially during the 70s, or more specifically during the time period that this is set, which is the earlier 70s. So yeah, trying to wrap all of that up just wouldn't really work. You'd end up even with an even longer film or overly convoluted film. So I can see why they're not trying to, completely erase the characters that are in this film. There are a few that do survive the end of this film, and yeah, you can see why. So yeah, it works in that regard, but I can see some people feeling it's going to be a little bit anticlimactic. So yeah, just be wary of that. Don't go in expecting some massive gunfights or explosions or anything like that. Although there is a really rather entertaining action scene in this involving a car chase that ends up with a helicopter being shot down and blowing up in a miniature, no less. Japan obviously well known for doing a lot of miniature work in this period of their cinema history. So yeah, and that is really entertaining. That's probably the most entertaining action scene of this series as well. So it does have its plus points. So yeah, no doubt about that. Although I would say there's some rear projection in this. It is a little bit dodgy. But yeah, on the whole, a really solid film and another good entry into this trilogy, which on the whole has been yeah, really entertaining, really engaging, and yeah, I've loved seeing the characters go through the motions, and the cast has been impressive as well. To keep the majority of the cast that survive as far as characters go is also pretty good as well. So yeah, on the whole, I will recommend this trilogy. There's probably Yakuza series out there that are better than this. Like I said in the first film, I think I said anyway that I've not seen the entirety of the Battles Without Honor and Humanity series. Only to the first film. I imagine some people might well prefer that because they do seem to be a bit more urgent and a little bit shorter and probably more violent as well. But yeah, I did appreciate this for its own thing that it was going for, and yeah, I can certainly see why Radiance released this, especially since, like I said, these are all world premieres on Blu-ray. So yeah, that in of itself is only a good thing, as it's brought these films that have been probably quite obscure up until now into the mainstream, so more people can therefore enjoy them, and that is only a good thing in its own right. So if you have seen the third film conclusion, then I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I'd also like to hear your thoughts on the trilogy as a whole. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.